Comfortable?
I don't know if you guys. Oh.
Sorry.
Elena looked down at the 200-pound English Mastiff pinned to her chest, his heavy saliva drenching her shirt, and she realized the monster everyone feared was actually a broken-hearted angel in disguise. Ray was not just a dog, he was a titan of flesh and soul, an English Mastiff with paws the size of dinner plates and eyes that held the wisdom of 1,000 years. For his entire life, he had known nothing but the tender touch of Grandma Rose, living in a world of floral scents and quiet afternoons. But time is a cruel thief. Rose, now frail and facing the winter of her life, realized her beloved companion needed a strength she no longer possessed. She didn't call, she wrote a letter, a heartbreaking, ink-stained plea explaining that she was moving to a care facility and couldn't take her gentle giant with her. When Elena and Marcus arrived at the small cottage, the air was thick with the scent of an ending. Ray stood there, a 200-pound mountain of golden fur, his tail giving a single mournful thump against the wooden floor. He knew. Dogs always know. Rose knelt down, her old bones creaking, and buried her face in Ray's massive neck. "They will love you better, my soul," she whispered, her voice fracturing like thin ice. "Please forgive me." She handed the leash to Elena, a literal passing of the torch, and in that moment, Ray's world shattered. He didn't bark, he didn't resist. He simply let himself be led away, his head hanging so low it nearly touched the gravel. The drive to his new home was silent, save for the sound of Ray's heavy, rhythmic breathing, a sound of pure, unadulterated grief. If you're watching this and haven't subscribed yet, I have to say I'm a little heartbroken. Stories like this need your support. Hit that subscribe button right now. You won't regret it. Now, back to what happened next. For the first few days, Ray was a ghost in a giant's body. He moved through Elena and Marcus's house like he was walking on eggshells, terrified that one wrong move would lead to another abandonment. He wouldn't eat, he wouldn't play. He simply sat in the corner, his enormous eyes clouded with the memory of the grandmother who had been his entire universe. Elena watched him from a distance, her heart breaking for the creature who looked like a lion but felt like a discarded toy. She remembered him as a tiny, bumbling puppy, but now he was a silent monument to sorrow. The tension in the house was palpable, a thick fog of uncertainty that lasted for days. Ray remained a shadow, refusing to engage, his massive frame curled into the smallest ball possible in the corner of the living room. But then came the morning that changed everything. The sun hadn't even fully cleared the horizon when Marcus's voice shattered the silence. "Elena, wake up! Look at this!" he shouted, his tone sharp enough to send adrenaline surging through her veins. Elena bolted upright, her heart hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. As her eyes flickered open, the world seemed to tilt. There, looming over her bed, was a prehistoric shadow. Ray wasn't in his corner. He was inches from her face, his massive head blocking out the light. He was staring at her with an intensity that was almost terrifying. His jowls were heavy, and a river of saliva was flowing like an open faucet, soaking into the expensive duvet. For a second, a primal fear gripped her. This was a 200-pound predator standing over her while she was vulnerable. But then she saw his eyes. They weren't predatory, they were desperate. They were pleading. Marcus erupted into a belly laugh that filled the room. "He's been standing here for 2 hours, Elena, just staring at you, waiting for you to wake up. I couldn't watch him wait any longer." Elena's fear evaporated into a cloud of warmth. "Oh, you sweet big boy," she whispered, reaching out a trembling hand. That was the spark. The moment her fingers touched his velvet ears, the dam broke. Ray didn't just wag his tail, his entire body erupted into a rhythmic earthquake of joy. With the grace of a falling skyscraper, he launched himself onto the bed. "Hey, you big moose, you're not a lapdog," Alina screamed through her laughter as 200 pounds of pure muscle flattened her into the mattress. Ray had officially closed his ears to the world. He began to stitch her face with his giant wet tongue, his saliva acting like a messy, gooey glue that bonded their souls forever. The ice hadn't just melted, it had been shattered by the sheer force of a mastiff's love. From that day forward, the house was no longer Elena and Marcus's. It belonged to Ray. The transition was absolute. If Elena went to the kitchen to pour a glass of water, a 200-pound shadow was glued to her hip. If Marcus sat down to tie his shoes, a massive head was resting on his shoulder, demanding a chin scratch. The gentle giant had become a permanent fixture, a living, breathing security system fueled by snacks and affection. But his favorite ritual was the crush. Every time Marcus went outside to tend to the garden, Ray saw his opportunity. He would wait until Elena was settled on the sofa, and then, with calculated precision, he would climb on top of her. He didn't just sit, he melted. It was as if he wanted to merge his body with hers, to ensure she could never disappear like his grandmother had. Over a year has passed, but the scene remains the same. Marcus will be outside pruning roses when he hears the muffled, desperate cries from the living room. "Ray, my ribs, I can't breathe. You're a giant, not a blanket." Marcus just leans on his shovel and grins. He walks inside to find Elena completely buried under a mountain of golden fur, her legs peeking out from under Ray's massive torso like a cartoon character. Ray just looks at Marcus with those big, soulful eyes, his tail thumping rhythmically against the sofa cushions, refusing to budge. He isn't just a dog anymore. He is the heartbeat of their home. He survived the trauma of loss and found a new purpose, to be the world's heaviest, slobberiest guardian angel. The most beautiful transformations often begin exactly when you think everything is over, proving that even a broken heart can find a new place to call home. What would you name this incredible 200-pound giant? Drop your ideas in the comments.